Sarah, and I wanted to start a reading vlog that was reading witchy novels for the spooky season, but I've gone for cozy witchy novels just because that's more my vibe. So in this vlog I'm going to be reading primarily In the Company of Witches by Aurelie Wallis, which I've already started. I'm about 50 pages through and I'm really enjoying this so far. This is following a girl called Bryn who lives in a sleepy New England town with her aunts Nora and Izzy, and they're all witches, but they're sort of trying to hide that from the people around them. They run a cozy B&B which is very popular in the town, and then one day one of their guests is found murdered, and it's just about solving the mystery so far. But it's very, despite the murder, it's very light-hearted, very cozy, describes autumn really well because it's set in the autumn time. There's just a lot of attention to detail with describing the setting, which I'm a big fan of. I love the characters. I think I was a bit skeptical going into this because I thought it'd be quite cheesy, but I don't think it is. I think it is just like genuinely quite funny, and I like the characters. I love that there's a cat called Faustus. This is the best name for a cat. I hope we get more of him as it goes on. But yeah, I'm only 50 pages through, so I will let you know my thoughts. I'm not sure what else I'm going to read. I thought maybe I'd read Practical Magic as well because I've been meaning to read that for a few years, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Today's Friday, Friday the 6th of October, and I start my new job on Monday the 9th, so I'm not sure how much time I'm going to get. I mean, I'll get a lot of time for reading because I have a bit of a commute for my first month of working, but I just don't know when I'm going to get time to film. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm hoping this video will be a cozy one. I'm hoping to make biscuits and just decorate the house all cozy for autumn, and yeah, just do cozy autumnal things really. So I'll bring you along with me while I do that. I probably won't be like a lot of the vlogs I do. I tend to have like me going somewhere or going to some like interesting place. I don't think it's going to be like that. It's probably just going to be me sort of pottering around the house, but I really like watching other people do those kind of videos. I just worry that it's boring when I do it, but hopefully it won't be. If you're seeing this vlog, it means I don't think it's that boring and I'm happy for you to see it. So yeah, I will catch up with you when I've read some more of In the Company of Witches. update for you, although it's not a lot of In the Company of Witches by Aureli Wallace. I originally set out to make this a vlog just solely reading this book and maybe Practical Magic, but I haven't got a huge amount read. I'm about halfway through now. I'm really enjoying it. It's not that I don't like it, it's just the format of the book, because it's a paperback. And I started a new job this week, and I have to get a train into Edinburgh and then a bus sort of to the outskirts of Edinburgh to my job. That's not a permanent thing, but just like while I'm training, I'm out by the beach, so it takes me about an hour to get to work, which is prime reading time, but I can't read on trains and on buses because I get travel sick. So I haven't really been reading a huge amount of this. I only get half an hour for my lunch as well, so this has really sort of fallen by the wayside, but I am really enjoying it. It's, like I said, a really cozy murder mystery, amazing descriptions of fall and baking. There's a lot of substance to it as well though. I really love the interactions between Bryn and her aunts. I think that's done really well, and even though they're kind of like exaggerated as characters in terms of you know, Nora's a very headstrong, independent, doesn't want to listen to anybody kind of character, and Izzy, her other aunt, is a lot more placid and just a very gentle, calming presence. I think they're quite exaggerated in playing up to those kind of roles, but it's done in a way that isn't too like over the top. I don't know, I can't really explain it, but I'm just really enjoying it. It's not like a particularly deep novel, not very profound. It is just a lot of fun. It's a romp. I'm not sure if I said that we're following this the murder of a guest who was staying at the B&B that these three witches own, and they're trying to solve the mystery of her murder, because Nora, one of Bryn's aunts, is now sort of the main suspect because she's been heard saying that she wanted to kill Nora, to kill Constance. It was just because, you know, she was sort of in that moment like exasperated by Constance's constant demands, and like was a very difficult character to get along with. But yeah, she's found herself as like the main suspect, and the witches are trying to solve this, but at the same time Bryn is healing from the loss of her husband Adam, who sort of died very young and unexpectedly, and since then she's found that she's finding it difficult to use her magical powers, and also she doesn't want to use them either. So she's saying, you know, I'm no longer a witch, I no longer practice magic, and as well as that sort of hindering their investigation into what's happened, it's causing friction between her and her family, because they obviously want her to use her magic and want her to identify as a witch still, and Nora's upset because she thinks Bryn isn't doing enough to help her, and Izzy is upset because she knows that Bryn is saying this because she hasn't moved on and she's struggling to heal. And yeah, it's just really well done. It's nice, it's funny in places, it's tender in places, and like I said, not the most profound piece of literature ever, but I am really enjoying it, and I've just downloaded it on Audible so I can keep listening to this on my commute next week, and hopefully I'll have that finished either on Monday or Tuesday. A book that I have finished, because I was listening to it sort of non-stop while I was travelling to and from work, is Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stephen. This is a YA retelling of The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I loved this. I enjoyed it even more than I thought I was going to. I thought maybe it might be a bit cringe because it's got some romance elements in, and it's YA, and I'm not a young adult, I am very much a middle-aged adult, but I thought this was really, really good. I think it's probably the best YA that I've ever read. Like I said, it's a Picture of Dorian Gray retelling, so we're following a character called Penny, who is attending a prestigious university called Dorian, which sort of trains actors and just specialises in kind of like highbrow acting, like Shakespeare and theatre productions and things like Her mother went there as well. Her mother's a famous icon called Peggy Paxton, who's known for just her amazing acting ability and sort of eternal, like, youthful beauty. But there is a more sinister side to her. She has suffered from decades of addiction and depression, and she hasn't been a very good mum to Penny, and Penny is very much trying to succeed in her career as an actress in order to win the affection of her mother that she's been sort of deprived of for her whole life. So she auditions for the lead role of Lady Macbeth in their first year production, and she thinks she's a shoo-in for it because her audition went so much better than everyone else's, and people stood up and gave her like a standing ovation. And then a character called Davina walks in late for her audition and does like an even more incredible performance and is cast instead of Penny in the role of Lady Macbeth. And yeah, Penny's world kind of falls apart from there, and Davina very quickly becomes her enemy. Penny sees Davina in one of their professor's cars, the professor who's casting the play, and she sees Davina kiss him on the cheek, takes a picture of it, and uses it to blackmail this professor into recasting her in the role of Lady Macbeth, which she's ultimately successful in, and then becomes mentored by a lady called Orla, who is again a very famous actress, known for being very beautiful and very youthful looking despite being like 60, 70, and Orla sort of latches on to the idea that Penny is very unhappy in her body. So Penny is very slim, very beautiful, and is also dealing with alopecia, which makes her feel very unconfident, and to get this like amazing figure that she has that is so like sought after, I suppose, she is basically starving herself and is suffering from an eating disorder. And so all is just like, well, how would you like to just be beautiful and not have to sort of work at it? There's a way that you can stay like looking like this forever, and you'll never age, and then you can just focus on your art and your craft. And Penny thinks like, oh, amazing, yeah, obviously I'll do that, and makes this, like Dorian Gray, makes this Faustian pact, whereby a person called the Masked Painter will paint her image and she will not age, but instead this painting in the gallery, the Exquisite, will age instead of her. And obviously that's not a great idea, and obviously it doesn't quite go how she thought it would. And yeah, that's really sort of where the main plot of the novel sort of progresses from. I loved the references to Dorian Gray, like the theatre, the main theatre at the school is called the Basil Hallward Theatre, which made me scream. I love Basil Hallward, and yeah, just so well done. I think it was really well written. I think my main criticism of it would be that some of the metaphors and similes, where it was a bit like, not a fan of them. Like there was one in particular where she was talking about how she was running, and it's just like running in a pair of trainers that were too big for me or something, and it was just like, just not a good metaphor. And yeah, a lot of the similes I thought were a bit like that. I also thought some of the characters were a bit over the top, like Davina in particular. We don't get a huge amount of like character development for her, and I think that was a real shame because she could have been such an interesting character. But she says things like, oh, I eat revenge for breakfast, and just like, just a bit cringe. But then again, like, I am a 33-year-old woman and not a 17-18-year-old reading this book. I do think it deals really well with themes of eating disorders and just societal expectations in terms of how women look. It deals really well with sort of beauty as a means of like harnessing power when you're a woman. It's like one of the few sort of forms of power that you are given, and it did a really good job of exploring that. I don't think it was particularly, I don't think it says anything particularly revolutionary or like groundbreaking, but I think when you consider that this is in a YA context, it does a really good job of sort of breaking down those themes for younger readers in a way that isn't patronising, and that I think sort of older readers can still take things from it. And yeah, I wish I'd had this book when I was like 16 or 17. One of the lines that really stuck with me was something along the lines of, oh, now that you've let go of being perfect, you can focus on being good. And it was just like a bit cheesy, but just, yeah, a really good YA book, with lots of plot, but not like too much going on. Very well written for the most part. I think it's a great tribute to The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is one of my favourite books of all time. So yeah, really pleasantly not surprised, just pleased that I liked it. I thought I would either really like it or really dislike it, but I'm glad that I fell into the really liking it category. I gave it 4 stars because of the criticisms that I mentioned earlier about the characterization and some of the sort of more intricate aspects of the writing, I suppose, but also the ending kind of lost me a little bit, and I wasn't as invested with the last maybe like 20% as I was with the rest of the book. But yeah, overall I do highly recommend it. So now I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I forgot how fast weekends go when you're working. I haven't had a 9-to-5 job for 3 years, just from, you know, caring and being at uni and stuff, and you don't get a lot of free time. Like, I thought I didn't have much free time before, and I really don't have much free time now. So yeah, I'm gonna go and enjoy what's left of my weekend. Hello, so I've now finished In the Company of Witches, and I ended up listening to this, I'd say about half of it on audio, and I read half of it physically. I thought this was okay. I ended up giving it 4 stars just because I thought the writing was really good and the characters were really well developed. It was funny. I had sort of no qualms at all with how it was written or anything like that. I just found it a little bit boring. That was my only criticism, and I think in terms of my enjoyment it was more like a 3-star, but in terms of sort of how good it was technically, I've sort of rounded up to 4 stars. Maybe it should be like a 3.5 stars overall. I just didn't care that much about the mystery, and that's kind of what's driving the whole book forward. I really liked spending time with the characters and getting to know them, and like I said, I did think it was funny. I sort of like chuckled a few times, but yeah, overall just a little bit dull. And I think some people will enjoy that because it's just like a typical cozy mystery, and it's quite heartwarming, especially the ending is very heartwarming, bordering on cheesy, and wasn't a huge fan of that. But yeah, overall it was good. It just maybe wasn't for me necessarily. I'm not sure. I think there's more in the series. I'm not sure I would continue just because I think the novelty of the coziness and just the real small town autumn vibes kind of wore off quite quickly for me, and then once that novelty had worn off there wasn't really much keeping me going. So yeah, unfortunately that one was a bit of a disappointment, but I did still enjoy it. And yeah, I'm gonna end it there. I thought I'd start reading, or I started listening to Discovery Witches by Deborah Harkness, and I was thinking, oh, I wonder if I should listen to that in this vlog, but then I realised it's like 23 hours on audio, so I was just like, no, I'm just gonna end the vlog here, otherwise I'll never get this vlog edited and uploaded. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know any spooky reads that you think I would like in the comments down below, and I will see you in another video. Bye!